drama. I mean, that is the best way to describe what just happened at the Stamford Bridge. Brighton versus Chelsea, or Chelsea versus Brighton, anyhow you want to put it. It was drama. I mean, a large part of the game had drama to it. But you see, it looks as if now, this time, every year that Chelsea plays in, there is drama. So Chelsea plays in Man City, drama. Tottenham Hotspur, drama. Arsenal, drama. Liverpool, drama. Go to Tyneside to go and play against Newcastle at the St. James Park, drama. Next, I think on Wednesday, there's Manchester United on the horizon, drama. So there is a lot of drama that I see from this Chelsea team. But I just think that, again, VAR seems to be bringing a lot of confusion into the game rather than bringing clarity into the game. Now, I don't see why VAR called the on-field referee to go for an on-field reviewing decision. It was needless. It was unnecessary tension in the game. You don't call a referee to go to the sidelines to go and watch for an on-field review when a ball struck somebody's head. I mean, it was so clear. Even those of us who are watching on TV, you are clear that that ball struck Levi Koval's head, and his hand was nowhere close to his head. So how do you send the referee to waste time and then rile up unnecessary tension, go and check VAR by the side, and again in his decision, once he's done, instead of a corner kick for Brighton, they asked for a restart of play. I mean, I think that's the English Premier League in terms of marketing is one of the best. They've done a showman's job at the league and everything, and no league seems to be coming close. I mean, that's a stance now in terms of quality, the kind of managers that are there and whatnot. But seriously, there is a big problem with respect to the kind of refereeing decisions that we see these days in the league. It's a little bit worrisome. And I think that it is time that they have a look at it. Guys, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I think it was drama. I think also Mauricio Pochettino managed the game pretty well. And that's exactly why I'm here. We'll look into the nitty-gritties of the game, how Chelsea started, how Chelsea played. But yeah, this is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, thank you very much for coming in here. I will entreat you to subscribe because we give you the best of tactical analysis here of all the games that goes on in Europe, of course, sometimes here on the continent as well, of course. And you turn on the notification and you choose all. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. Subscribe to the channel and then turn on your notification and do choose all. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. This was a game that Chelsea just had to win. They had to win regardless, whether lackluster or whatever performance. It was a game that Mauricio Pochettino and his charges knew that they just had to win. And in going into this game, it was against a Brighton side that Chelsea have played before. When they did play before, Chelsea did win by a solitary goal. But yes, Chelsea deserved it because they created a better chances and all of that. I think that the bigger task going into this game wasn't the fact that Brighton have had their own issues, but it was that for Chelsea, there was no recognizable fullback in the team, in the senior team, I mean. I don't think that Mauricio Pochettino views Ian Matheson as a fullback. I'll bet he brought him on to do a very, very good job. I'll tell you why Mauricio Pochettino did that. He didn't do it because he sees him as a good fullback. He did it for just one reason, and I'll tell you later in the video. So yeah, stick and stay. Again, Brighton themselves had traveled from Athens. Their flight from Athens was delayed because of the mandatory drug tests that the players have to go through and do. Because, I mean, when you play a game in Europe, sometimes the medical people come in so that you do a mandatory test. The Brighton folks were out to stay in Athens for, I think, about well over 2 more hours. Their flight was delayed. So they returned to England on Friday. They just had to do a recovery session and then straight to this game. So they have also had some injuries. Louis Dang, their captain, had a red card before this game. Kiro Mitoma was now recovering from injury. But again, all of these players they play. On the part of Chelsea, Rdz'S was absent. Marco Correa, Ben Chilwell has been out for a long time. And there's no recognizable fullback in there. So it was a big question. I felt that going into this game, Chelsea should have gone into Moise Caicedo from right back. And you see, immediately the game started and Chelsea played a flat back four with 4 big centre backs in there. I knew that there was going to be a big problem. In the early ambers of the game, you could see that the Sassy was holding his own fine against Simon Edinga. But later on, immediately Kiro Mitoma came, you knew that Chelsea was up for trouble. So, first game, like we did analyze in the post-match analysis. One of the things that Chelsea wanted to do brilliantly well was to stop Brighton in central areas. If they're able to congest central areas, do a lot of numerical superiority in central areas, win the balls in those areas, and Brighton will be forced to play wide. Now, you play wide, and Chelsea and Mauricio Pochettino was comfortable that with Benote and then, of course, the Dingra, Chelsea can deal with the rest defense, because that rest defense is fairly good if you have Bediashile. And then whilst the rest defense is dealing with a threat from out wide, then Pochettino also had a very, very specific plan, because you could see that off the ball, consistently, Benoit Bediashile's job was to read the game explicitly well and then step into midfield to deal with Evan Ferguson. So there were lots of times where Benoit did not allow Evan to turn around. So he would close in on him behind very hard and strong and step into midfield. There were also times where when Chelsea took up these positions in this area and Brighton were trying to play through them centrally, Benoit would drop into midfield so the back would be a back three flat, so that he would deal with the aerial balls first. And consistently, he was chasing Evan Ferguson into the various zones. I think that Evan didn't do a brilliant job in bringing Benoit into the wide areas and pulling him out. He consistently stayed central, because maybe it was a strict instruction from Pochettino, from Roberto Rdz'S telling him to stick to central areas, because he had a lot more of threats in the wide areas in Benote and, of course, in Simon Adingra. And who I once add is an Ivorian international, and it comes from that long chain of talents that have been produced on the Right to Dream Academy here in Ghana. So he went to the Right to Dream Academy, went to Norgerland, and then straight he has been bossed by Brighton and Hove. So he's a top talent in there. Albeit this was one of his games. So this was how Chelsea planned to stop Brighton. And I think that whilst this was a very good plan, this is also the reason why Conor Gallagher, yes, I know Conor is a little bit too intense, he's very competitive. Sometimes he loses his head and all not. He rushes into tackles sometimes. But I think that this is also the reason why Conor had that red card that he had. And I'll tell you why again, so when the game goes on. So that's how Chelsea dealt with Brighton in central areas. You stop them centrally. When the ball comes from out wide, what you have to do is that you make sure that Benoit Bediashile will be very aggressive on Evan Ferguson. So Evan will be moving from these areas. But immediately he comes in, Benoit will close him down and prevent him from turning. Then he had a lot of congestion. So there were times where Chelsea were a little bit careful in closing teams down. So they will shuffle it. And in pre-match analysis, Pochettino had mentioned it that they can't go full throttle. Sometimes they have to mix it up, 4-5-1. They will have to go 4-1-4-1 in it. And I think that was the press shape of Chelsea early on of the game when it was 11v11. And they did that very well. Caicedo will sit up sometimes. Sometimes Caicedo will step in. Sometimes he'll do the job, and it was good. But one of the things that they changed, and again, it is something that I think is Chelsea only do it. And I think they've only done it against Brighton and Hove, because I didn't see that so much against Arsenal. I didn't see that at all against Manchester City. If you did, I want you to comment, and if you can show me proof, I'll be very excited. But Chelsea did something where in build-up, Thiago Silva and Benoit will open up as a two centre-backs. But it is Robert Sanchez and Caicedo who starts the play. So I'm sure you saw it several times if you watched the game. Chelsea will open up with Thiago and Benoit Bediashile, but then you will have Caicedo dropping in there into the 6-yard box. He receives the ball from of Robert Sanchez. Robert will dart into the area, like opening up for the pass, so that the player that is pressing Thiago Silva in this area will take the attention, or will look to close in down on Robert Sanchez. Then he slides the ball through to the part of Thiago Silva outside. It was risky, very risky in terms of build-up, very, very risky. And it was also because Chelsea knew that Brighton were going to set these traps for them. They set these attacking traps for them. They knew that, okay, we'll set traps. They'll try to play out on the back. We'll go high throttle. We know that Robert Sanchez is not the best with his feet. So once we open up for him, they will try to send the ball to him. If they do, he will open up in there. We can close them down. But Chelsea knew that they also had to be confident and play. And they did a very, very good job from Thiago Silva. And then Enzo Fernandez was in the hole. It was a brilliant job that he did. Brilliant job that he did. And when I saw it, I was particularly excited because you play against a Brighton side that's very aggressive with their press, and you don't want to drop off. You drop off and then they smell blood and they'll come very high and they will deal with you. But across the game, Chelsea did a very good job. So back into that first half where, again, I think one other thing that I need to point out was that 2 set piece goals. You see, I did mention yesterday in my analysis, the last video that I've posted. So if you don't watch it, you have to go and watch it. It's a post-match analysis of Arsenal, that of Madrid, there is that of Girona and how they can win the Spanish La Liga, and then the other ones as well. But in Arsenal analysis, I didn't mention that Arsenal this time aren't scoring too many goals, but they have a lot of control, and they are trying to get their goals and the chances that you create from set pieces, and all of those things are helping. And I think this is the part of the game that also I'm thinking that Mauricio Pochettino intentionally practices on. So you look at the 2 set pieces. First of them, the one that the first one for Enzo Fernandez. Before Conor Gallagher kicks that ball, he raises that ball up as if he's trying to rub the ball in his shirt, raises it up, and I think that is a signal. Usually, that's what these players do. They know among themselves, let's see, if I raise the ball up, this is what I mean. If I don't do anything, this is what it means, and everything. So he went fully to the far post, and he targeted Benoit Bellachile. And the plan was to bring the ball back into the 6-yard box, and Enzo Fernandez was in there. And that's exactly how the second one also came. Far post, bring it back. This time Liverpool were there because they wanted to move them. And I think it was good stuff. When you play against a team like Brighton, yes, you create chances. Yes, sometimes you struggle to score goals. But you need to also put, especially when you have centre backs who are very, very tall and you're playing 4 of them, you needed to use them. And it was a smart thing to do in there. Benoit has assisted from a corner kick, like what happened today. He has scored also in the game against Blackburn. And that's what you get from him. The height in opposing boxes in defending and in attacking as well. And it's going to be one of the things that Chelsea will need in terms of growing as a team, set pieces. And the average out of the centre back is also very good for stuff like that. So it was brilliant display. I think that my man of the match was Benoit Bellachile, actually. The job he did on Evan Ferguson will go under the radar because people will not watch the game from that angle. But it was a brilliant job done by Benoit Bellachile. Now, the red card comes in. Now, that's a big question. I think he came around the 40-something minutes. Around that time, Chelsea were just supposed to weather the storm. And nothing really went on. Good goal from Benoit. Brilliant goal. But again, I have a problem with Levi Cole and Benoit Bellachile. Nobody puts pressure on the ball outside, especially for Levi Cole. He was too calm, too gentle to allow Benoit to catch onto his left foot and then slot the ball in there. And that is a big problem I have with Levi Cole. You need to be very aggressive in such areas, especially if you are playing as a centre back that's playing outside in a Rdz'S defense. You need to get a job done in there. And I think that that's a fault of the team not putting the ball, enough pressure of the ball in the middle of the park, allowing the ball to go wide, and then not stopping those balls. 2 comfortable left-footed centre backs. This should be easy. You guys are left-footed. You're not like a right-footer. You're left-footed. He's catching onto his left foot, so you should get a job done. But they weren't able to get it. But I think where the master stroke actually came on was after the red card and in the second half. So in the second half, Pochettino knew that he had to manage the game. Albeit, I kept on asking myself, how long can Pochettino manage this game? Because he had a man down. Caicedo had some yellow card in around that time. And it's a young team. How do you manage a team? It was going to be important in the long-term growth of this team. Now, one of the things that he did brilliantly, keep the shape the first half. But then the shape should be a 4-3-1. I think it was, no, before the change, it became a 4-4-1, actually. That was exactly how it was. With Jackson up top. But mind you, in the first half, Chelsea were comfortable playing out on the back. If you are numerically disadvantaged, how do you then play out on the back? So there was supposed to be a resolution, a solution to that. And that was the brilliant part of everything that Mauricio Pochettino did, was how to progress the ball from goal kicks in the second half. And again, he used the height of Rdz'S Assis. And I kept on asking myself when I was in game that, why is he keeping Rdz'S Assis on? Zassi should go off. Because when Mitoma came, when he was giving him a hell of a time, he didn't have the pace of Mitoma. Mitoma was turning him inside and out consistently. And I'll come to the subs that Pochettino did make. But the brilliant job that he did initially was to push the Chelsea players with height into the right-hand side. So every time that Chelsea had a goal kick, this time they will go long, but then into where the Chelsea dugout area is with the Sassi, with before Jackson went off, Jackson, and then other players, Benoit sometimes, and even they overload those areas. That's the correct tactical thing, to overload those areas and win those balls from. And that's the only way Chelsea were able to progress. Now, again, when Chelsea were defending set pieces and stuff like that, there were 2 triggers. It was Sterling close to the Chelsea 18-yard box, and then Mihailo Mudryk on the right-hand side, whilst Jackson stays up to occupy the centre backs. And that's exactly how that penalty was won. Brilliant job using the pace of Mihailo Mudryk and not bringing him off, because for large part of the game, he was a little bit passive. And that's something about football. There are some players that sometimes they can just affect the game within a switch. And sometimes as a coach, your in-game management and your intuition has to be top-notch. Sometimes it's not even about the know-how of the game. It's just sometimes a job of intuition and knowing that this is a game that can fall. A ball can fall to Modric, and you will need his pace. And that's exactly what happened. Chelsea got that penalty, 3-1 Enzo Fernandez. Brilliant job in there. Then post that, Kiro Mitoma comes on. How do you deal with Mitoma? The Sassi is already feeling. And again, they are targeting a lot of crosses into the 6-yard area of Chelsea. You need the height of the Sassi there. Brilliant stuff. You take off an attacker. You bring down my man, Ian Matheson. And I think Matheson did a very, very good job. Very, 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 very good job Ian Matheson doing. Because, and again, I told you from the beginning of the video that I'll tell you why. It is not because he's a good defensive player. Because of pace. He brought in Ian Matheson to deal with Kiro Mitoma's pace. Because Kiro is a brilliant player in terms of pace and everything. And mind you, Ian has also played at fullback at Burnley when he went on loan there in the Championship. So he knows the perks of playing there. I bet he was a more attacking fullback. But he knows the nitty-gritties of the job when he had to defend sometimes. And I think he did a brilliant job. And when Cole Palmer came in, it was consistently a 2v1 against Kiro Mitoma. And sometimes Axel Disasi will be out to make it a 3v1 and a defending in central areas in there. So I just think that it was brilliant in-game management. Bringing on Cole Palmer, who is literally slow, to calm down the game and with his pulsar to take the sting out of Brighton's way of playing. Again, to make sure that you bring in the time at which he kept Axel Disasi there, to then bring in Ian Matheson in there so that Brighton will switch play. Was brilliant again for me. I think, again, how he managed Mihailo Mudryk was also good stuff. So the changes were spot on, and I think that's very good in-game management, especially after going down by a man down to get the 3 points. It was an all-important win. Chelsea needed to win anyway, anyhow, and they got a win. I'll bet all the nerves and emotions of the both sides of the players and whatnot. But yeah, I saw over there when Robert Sanchez was having a go as a Brighton goalkeeper's trainer and everything. I mean, he had one of them today. Caicedo didn't care. He just went down his knees to pray to God, say thank you to him. So yeah, guys, thank you very much. I mean, this is where I draw the kittens. There's going to be another video tonight on all the games that have gone on in the weekend. So you better make sure you turn on notification and come and enjoy the tactical analysis in that. So my name is Fiifi-Manfred. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you. If not subscribed, do so. Turn on notification. Bye.